Okay, so I need to tell you something embarrassing that happened to me this morning, and I feel like our listeners need to hear this too because it is so relatable.
Oh no, what did you do?
So I ran into my neighbor in the elevator, the one I actually like, not the weird one, and she asked me, "How was your day?" And I just completely blanked. I stood there for like 3 full seconds and said, "It was fine,
That's it? Just fine?
just fine." And then the doors opened and she left, and I was standing there thinking, I speak English for a living. I literally teach people how to talk. And the best I had was fine.
Okay, that is genuinely funny. And also, that's exactly why we're doing today's episode, because fine is basically the English learner's white flag. It means I give up on this conversation.
It does. And look, I'm Lena, by the way. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is the TalkMates, and what we do here is teach you real, natural spoken English. Not the kind you find in a textbook, but the kind people actually use every day.
I'm Max, and if you've been listening for a while, you know that everything we teach comes from real situations, real conversations, real life. We're not drilling grammar rules at you, we're just talking. And you're going to pick up the language the way it actually works.
And today's topic is something that sounds almost too simple, right? Talking about your day. But here's the thing. If you can't do this smoothly, naturally, without freezing up, almost every social conversation in English is going to feel awkward. Because this is where most conversations start.
Someone asks, "How was your day?" And the way you answer, whether it's just fine or something real, that sets the whole tone. It either opens a door or closes it. Today, we're teaching you how to open it.
We're going to give you vocabulary, phrases, stories, all the natural ways to describe what happened to you. And by the end, you're going to sound like someone who actually wants to talk.
Which, honestly, some days is harder than it sounds.
Okay, so let's actually start with that moment. Someone asks, "How was your day?" What do most English learners say?
Good, fine, not bad, maybe busy, and then silence.
Exactly. And none of those are wrong, technically, but they're conversation enders, not conversation starters. So today, we're giving you the upgrades.
The first thing to understand is that in natural English, people don't usually just answer the question. They add a little something, a reaction, a detail, a setup for a story. Think of it as giving the other person something to grab onto.
So instead of, "It was good," you might say, "It was actually really good, weirdly. I didn't expect much, but then..."
That "but then" is doing a lot of work. It pulls the person in. They want to know what happened.
Yes. Or on a bad day, instead of "fine," you could say, "Honestly, it was a lot. I'm still kind of processing it."
Which is so much more interesting. I'm still processing it. That phrase, by the way, is really common in casual American English. It means you haven't fully digested something emotionally yet.
And it invites follow up. The other person almost has to ask, "Wait, what happened?"
Which is exactly what you want. So the first principle is give them a hook. Don't just report your day, tease it a little.
Now, let's talk about some specific phrases for different kinds of days. Because your day isn't always good or bad. Sometimes it's a mixed bag.
Mixed bag. Write that one down. It means your day had some good parts and some not so good parts. Honestly, it was kind of a mixed bag. The morning was rough, but the afternoon got better.
Or you could say it had its moments. That's a really natural one. It had its moments means there were some good points, some bad points.
And if your day was genuinely terrible, you don't have to say bad. You could say, "It was one of those days." Everyone knows what that means.
One of those days is brilliant because it's universal. You don't have to explain anything. The other person immediately understands something went wrong, probably more than one thing.
And if things went surprisingly well, you could say, "It turned out better than I expected." Or, "I had no idea it was going to go that well, honestly."
The word honestly in casual conversation is really interesting. It signals that you're about to say something real, something unfiltered. It makes you sound more authentic, not just polite.
So the key takeaway here, move away from one-word answers. Give a feeling, a direction, a small hook. That's what keeps a conversation alive.
All right, so now you've hooked them. They want to know more. How do you actually tell the story of your day in a natural way?
This is where a lot of learners hit a wall because telling a story in real-time English, where it sounds casual, not like a report, takes some practice.
The number one thing I notice is that learners tend to use and then, and then to connect everything, which works, but it sounds very flat, like you're reading from a list.
In real conversation, native speakers use a much wider range of connectors. Things like, so get this, which means here's the interesting or surprising part.
Or out of nowhere to describe something unexpected. I was just sitting at my desk and out of nowhere, my boss calls me in.
Or the thing is, before you explain a complication, I was going to leave early. The thing is, everything decided to go wrong at 4:30.
That one is so real. Everything always breaks at 4:30.
Always. And then there's, you're not going to believe this, which sets up something surprising or funny or frustrating. It tells the listener, pay attention. This part is worth it.
Now, let's talk about how to describe specific parts of your day. Work, commute, lunch, errands. These are the everyday building blocks.
For work, some really natural phrases. It was one of those days where I barely looked up from my screen. That paints a picture of being really busy without just saying I was busy.
Or, I had back-to-back meetings all morning. I didn't get anything actually done, which, relatable.
Very. Or on a better day, I finally got through that thing I'd been putting off for weeks, and honestly, it felt amazing.
Putting off. Phrasal verb. Important one. It means delaying something you don't want to do.
And get through something means finishing something difficult or tedious. I finally got through all my emails. I got through the report. Very common in everyday English.
For commutes, the train was absolutely packed. Traffic was a nightmare. I somehow got a seat the whole way, which never happens.
That last one is good because it's specific and personal. Which never happens, that little addition makes it feel real. You're not just describing what happened, you're reacting to it. Reaction is a huge part of natural English storytelling. You're not a news anchor. You're a person. So let your feelings show up in the language.
Exactly. And that's what makes conversations feel warm and human, instead of just informational. Okay, this section might be the most important one, and I feel like it's the most underrated in English learning.
What are we getting into?
Emotional vocabulary. The words and phrases you use to describe how your day felt, not just what happened.
Right, because a day isn't just a sequence of events. It has a texture to it. Some days feel draining, some feel exciting, some feel weirdly satisfying, even if nothing major happened.
And in English, there are so many specific words for this that are way more expressive than good or bad. Let's go through some.
Drained. You feel physically and emotionally empty. I'm just completely drained. I don't have anything left.
Frazzled. You're stressed and a little scattered. I had 3 things going on at once. I was so frazzled by the end of it.
Wiped out. Exhausted. I don't know why. I barely did anything, but I'm completely wiped out.
Which, by the way, is a real thing. Sometimes the most exhausting days are the ones where you're mentally strained, even if you're physically still.
Absolutely. Then, on the positive side, energized, pumped, on a roll.
On a roll is great. It means things kept going well, one after another. I had a really productive morning. I was just on a roll.
Or, I'm in a surprisingly good mood today. I don't even know why. Which is honest and very human and people love that kind of admission.
And then there are the more nuanced ones. It was kind of bittersweet, which means something was partly happy, partly sad.
I had this long lunch with my team because one of us is leaving, and it was really lovely, but also just bittersweet, you know?
That, you know, at the end, such a natural conversational tool. It's an invitation. You're checking if the other person is tracking emotionally.
And most of the time they'll say, yeah, totally, or, oh, I hate those. And suddenly you're really talking.
One more, it was weirdly satisfying. Like you did something small or boring, but it just felt good to finish it.
I reorganized my whole desk, which sounds incredibly boring, but it was weirdly satisfying.
Classic. The word weirdly in front of an emotion is such a natural softener. It shows self awareness that you know your feeling is a little unexpected.
And it makes you sound real, not scripted. Just a person having a day.
Okay, let's talk about the mistakes. Because there are a few really common ones that learners make when talking about their day, and they're very fixable.
First one, over-explaining. Some learners feel like they need to give every detail in perfect order. The train came at 8:14, and then I arrived at 8:52, and then I went to the office, and then I turned on my computer.
We call that the police report. It's factually complete and completely lifeless.
In real English, you skip the boring parts. You jump to what was interesting, funny, weird, or hard. You don't owe the listener a full timeline.
Second mistake, translating emotions directly from your first language. A lot of learners say, I was very happy, or I was very sad, which is grammatically fine, but sounds a bit flat in casual speech.
Native speakers tend to use more vivid, physical language. Instead of I was very happy, they might say I was over the moon, or I couldn't stop smiling, or even just I was genuinely so happy, like actually.
And instead of I was very tired, I was dead on my feet. I was running on fumes. I could barely keep my eyes open.
These are idioms, but they're extremely common ones. They show up constantly in everyday conversation.
Third mistake, asking how was your day and then not listening. Because talking about your day is a two-way thing.
Yes, when someone answers, you follow up. You reflect something back. Wait, that actually sounds really stressful. Or, okay, how did that end?
Those small follow-ups, how did that end? Did it work out? What did you say? These are the phrases that keep a conversation alive. They show you're actually there, actually interested.
And that's the real goal, right? Not just answering a question, building a moment with someone.
All right, let's practice. We're going to put everything together, and I want you, the listener, to actually try these out loud. Don't just listen, speak. That's the only way this sticks.
We're going to give you 3 scenarios and a simple prompt for each one. Pause, think about it, say it out loud. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to try.
Scenario 1. Your friend texts you at 7 p.m. Hey, how was your day? Your day was long and exhausting, but ended well. How do you reply in a natural, textable way?
Pause here and try it. We'll give you a version. Honestly, it was a lot. I was kind of dragging by 3 p.m., but then things picked up. I'm good now, just tired.
Short, casual, real. That's a textable response. It gives something without writing an essay.
Scenario 2. You're at a work lunch and someone you don't know well asks, how's your week going? You've had a busy but productive week.
Try it first. A natural version might be, it's been a lot, honestly, but in a good way. I've actually been really on top of things this week, which doesn't always happen.
That which doesn't always happen does a lot. It's self-aware and slightly funny and completely human.
Scenario 3. A close friend asks how your day was, and something genuinely frustrating happened. You want to vent a little, but not dump everything on them.
This is a real conversational skill. You might say, "So, you have a second? Because I kind of need to tell someone what happened today." And then you tell them.
That opening, you have a second, is so polite and natural. It asks permission before launching into a story. People really appreciate that.
And I kind of need to tell someone. That's an emotional signal. It says, "This mattered to me. I want to share it." It invites warmth.
So notice what we're doing here. We're not just teaching vocabulary. We're teaching how to navigate a conversation emotionally and socially, because that's what real English fluency looks like.
Exactly. The words are the tool. The goal is connection.
Okay, I feel like we covered a lot today, and I want to bring it all back to something simple, because the big takeaway really isn't that complicated.
What have we got?
Talking about your day in English is one of the most human things you can do in the language. It's not a test, it's not a performance, it's just, here's what happened to me today, and I want to share it with you.
And the more naturally you can do that, with real vocabulary, real emotion, real storytelling, the more connected you'll feel in every English conversation you have.
So let's do a quick recap. Move away from fine and good. Give a reaction, give a hook, give a direction.
Use connectors like, "So get this, out of nowhere." And the thing is, to tell your story naturally, not like a list, like a person talking.
Use emotional vocabulary. Drained, frazzled, on a roll, wiped out, weirdly satisfying, to describe how your day felt, not just what happened.
Avoid the police report. Skip the boring parts. Jump to what mattered.
And listen back. Follow up. Show up for the other person's story, too.
Because the best conversations about your day are never really one-sided. They're a trade. I'll show you mine, you show me yours.
Okay, that came out wrong.
It really did. What I meant was share, listen, connect. That's what talking about your day is really for. And if you practice this even once today, with a friend, in your head, out loud to your ceiling, you will feel the difference.
And if you want more of this, real English, real conversations, real situations, you know where to find us. New episode coming very soon, and it's going to be a good one.
See you next time.